Hello everyone. Today I figured I'd make a video on making a very basic starter miner. And I've already placed down a landing gear. And when you place down a landing gear and you orient it and there happens to be gravity, you'll notice that it already locks to the structure it falls on, which is pretty useful and handy. In space it's a bit more difficult. I've already loaded up my hotbar with the blocks that we'll be using. And I like to build up from the ground some, just so I have space to expand, just in case I decide I want to go down. And I am pretty late game, but I've decided that I need something for mining specific ores, and I need it uniform, where the drills are able to mine enough stuff so that I can just bore right through the earth. This is going to be an atmospheric based miner. So let's just go ahead and orientate this. Of course, it's always been difficult. And of course, I like to just go ahead and just put my drill right here on the front. That way the ports, let's make sure that's lined up. The ports are already lined up, and if I want to add more drills, I can just add them to the side. Like so. We'll see if we still want to do that later. Okay, so now there is two ports on the back of this cockpit right here. One here and one here. And you'll find that when you try and place your cargo or what have you, you'll want to place some blocks here. This adds a little bit of extra structural support in case something breaks. And we'll get our small conveyors. Or wait, right here. My bad. This has a port on all sides. And I'll probably just go ahead and weld this stuff up, because I may not be able to get to it later in the build. So what I'm going to do is grab my, these steel blocks. We can weld those up because they're just one steel plate. And then these, I can right click with my welder, come over here, and I can just pull the materials that have already been made. And then I instantly can just go ahead and build these. And I may have had something queued. Yeah. My bad. Let me just go ahead and deposit materials. And we'll just grab out some more interior plates and steel plates so I can keep building here. Then we'll right click this again. That will save it to the build planner. That'll give me the extra materials I didn't have in my inventory. Alright. Now that I got those built, let's go ahead and add a cargo container. Now, it's important to note that one of these drills will actually hold the same amount of materials as a medium cargo container. So it's not absolutely necessary that you add cargo containers. You could just add more drills, but this will give us a bigger base to build upon. And more storage is always nice. Now we'll just add those to our build planner. We'll middle mouse click to add the components to our inventory. Evidently they're not built, so I'm going to shift middle mouse click, and then I'll put the components into production automatically. Just making sure my build planner wasn't muddied up. All right, next, let's connect. Let's connect our cockpit to the rear. Now, it's important to note that these are small conveyor tubes. They can only transfer like certain materials like ammunition and ore and stone and ingots and things of that nature. But steel plates and things of that nature like batteries, they're too big. So you can't really transport those through small containers. So that's important to note. But since we're connected the drill to the cockpit to these small conveyors, we'll be able to fill up everything with stone or whatever material that we may need. Then I'll go ahead and just grab our blocks here. And then we'll just build these up. There you go. They're red right now because we don't have any power. Conveyors do not convey anything if there's no power. So let's go ahead and add ourselves a battery. We will place you... To keep it more uniform, we will place it on the underside. This way the drill is more centered towards the majority of the mass. And I'm going to add 3 or 2 just so we have a little bit more than just 1 megawatt stored, because atmospheric thrusters burn a lot of energy. Next, I'll grab some materials. Battery cells take up a lot of space, so I'll have to make a couple trips here. We'll grab some more. Here is our 2 batteries, and as you see, the conveyors lit up. Next, let's go ahead and just build our cockpit and drill. Let's see what we're missing here. Yeah, I don't think I have any more displays built, so we'll do Shift middle mouse button. Takes a second. The assembler has to grab the materials from storage. Grab another one here. All right. Now let's do our drill. I like to build the main structure first before I add my thrusters to ensure that everything is going to work. So I see what's connected, what's not. And then I will add my thrusters. Now I'm going to add a connector so we're able to charge and also distribute our materials into our base. Right click, middle click. There's our connector. Now we need to add a gyroscope in order that we're able to turn the vehicle. I'm going to add 2. And our fuel is low. That's fine. Just go ahead and charge up here. Let's grab both of those so we can get our components. Middle mouse. Evidently the ship didn't have everything I needed. All right. Okay. All right. Looks like we're doing the shift middle mouse button. All right. Both of those are built. Now, let's see. That is basically everything but our source of thrust. So, let's go ahead and just add some thrusters. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add some large atmospheric thrusters. That was a little weird. Make sure my build planner is clear. Now, let's grab our components here. I'm adding 2 large atmospheric thrusters. This is because vertical takeoff and weight carrying is the most important ability when it comes to these types of craft, especially on Earth planets. Now, if you're on Titan or a moon, it's not as necessary to go with big thrusters, with the exception of the moon, of course, because there's no atmosphere. So you can't build atmospheric, well, you can build them, but you can't use atmospheric thrusters where there's no atmosphere. So you'd have to use hydrogen. But that's another tutorial. So now we have our upward thrust. Now I'm going to add 1 large reverse thruster. And the reason for this is because you don't want to be digging and you don't have any reverse thrust, because typically you're going to be facing straight down, and this could end up making you crash if you harvest too many resources, because your weight is going to go up drastically as you fill up. And I think we'll add forward thrust is not as important as stopping thrust. So we're going to use some small atmospheric thrusters. And it looks like we're out of steel plates. Okay. Let's just queue up. Now there's some there, but there. I've been doing a lot of economy stuff. So we'll just have 2 forward-facing thrusters, as it's not as important as lift and reversed thrust. Stopping is just as important as lifting. So I'm going to add both of these to my build planner. We'll come over here, get our materials. There we go. We got our forward, we got our reverse, we got our up. Now we just need, like, even though it is not as necessary, like 1 or 2 downward thrusters. And we can put those right here. We'll go ahead and add those to our build planner. All right, looking good. Now we need our side to side. Now, you may want to put 2 sideways small thrusters at least, just to help control your roll, the vehicle doing this. And so in case you're going straight down and you get disoriented, you don't want your ship to just all of a sudden, if you get like this, just fall into the earth. You want a little bit of tolerance so you're able to stop yourself ahead of time. Oh, right. You got to build them first. All right. So on the side of this, I will place 2 on each side. Now I'm keeping a low form factor so that my drill is able to bore down to the specific materials I need using right click. I will show you how to set that up. 2, 1, 2. Let's grab that. All right. Grab the rest. Okay. So now we have 2 sideways facing. We got front, we got reverse, we got lift, and we got down. Next, I'm going to add an antenna. Don't want to lose our craft. Now I'm going to have to put those in the build planner. I don't think I have any radio components built. Let's go ahead and just grab most of that stuff. Okay, let's go grab some more. Okay. Now we have our basic miner built. Now I'm going to go ahead, since the thrusters automatically are already on, I'm going to go ahead and destroy these parts. Now I'm going to add a downward connector. Because I may want to use this for trade in the future, and this will make it more versatile. All right, just getting a look for what we got here. Now let's add a landing gear, just in case we are low on power and we don't want to risk making a trip back to base. All right, and that is basically our basic miner built. Now we need to set up our hotbar and functions so we can better operate. So it has some pretty decent control. It doesn't want to immediately fall over. We only weigh 22,000 kilograms, so that's good. And it has great stopping force, which means that we'll most likely be able to reverse easily out of a pit. Okay, so we also need some light. That is something else that we need to add. Spotlights, fortunately, are pretty cheap. Let's go ahead and get ourselves some more fuel. Let's give that back. We'll grab ourselves 2 bottles instead of 1. Less interruptions. Now, let's add our spotlight. Where did I put the spotlight? Now, make sure you don't put these directly in front of your thruster. You don't want to burn them up with the exhaust. I'm just going to go ahead and just add both those to the build planner, grab my materials. All right. Interesting fact, you don't actually need to add bulletproof glass to these in order for them to work. That is just like some extra health so they don't get damaged. Let's go ahead and just change up our colors here, just so it's not so irritating to the eyes. I'm going to grab both of them, and I'm just going to pull this over a little bit. And then I'll add a little bit of extra warmth to the color. That way it's not so jarring white. Not very hospital-y. It's more warm. Now let's add our block tools to the hotbar. Now if I just click, it'll turn on my drill. Right click, turn on my drill. Now right click destroys a larger area. And if you look on the bottom right of the screen, you'll see the battery time is really low. We need to charge this vehicle before we mine with it. But for now, if I just hit V, I can go third person. And if I hold right click, you can see I'm able to bore through this mountain and create a pretty decent sized crater. This will allow you to get to specific materials that you need. Which is why having a small little miner is just so useful. So I'm easily able to fit through this hole. Now, drills take up very little power, but atmospheric thrusters, on the other hand, take up a lot. Whenever I'm moving, you'll see that the battery drops drastically, because it's not constant power. It's just what power you are currently using at the time. So if I just stand still, this machine could sit here for 30 minutes straight and not lose power. Now I need to add the landing gear. I'm going to set this to switch lock. Next, we'll add our connectors. Also to switch lock. Next, something else you can do. If you look through your inventory list here on the K menu, you'll see this has a back. I'm going to name this back, and that makes it a group over here in this corner. If I go to my G menu and I go to groups, I'll have all the things that I selected in that group. Let's just say I want to turn this specific thruster or set off. If I turn this off, I'm able to just get up to speed and just coast, and I won't stop. And all my other thrusters are on, so I have inertia dampeners. And then when I want to stop, I can just turn this on, and that'll help me stop. Otherwise, I can't cruise, and I'll just have to stop and waste power. Oh, my large thruster is more efficient at stopping than otherwise. Another method to descend, if you don't have down-facing thrusters, you can hit Z and turn off your inertia dampeners and pulse it. This way, you can reserve fuel and be more efficient. And the dock, I have a port here, a connector already made up. If I just go down, using the Alt key, I can turn around and not have to worry about moving the ship. Now, if you look at my hotbar, there's one that says ready to connect and one that says unlocked. The one that's ready to connect is the yellow one. Now, if I just press that hotkey, we're connected. and that is your basic atmospheric thruster. If you want to turn off your spotlights, you can press L by default. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video or if it was helpful. Until next time, have a good one.